All right, here we are with Henry Chao, H. Chao, top four
That's
at the
right.
Las Vegas Regional, playing another Jelli Garde. Cool. Tell us about your list.
Yeah, so this list I've been working on for a while. I played a ton on the ladder with this for like the past month or so. Was working on refining it. So start off with the Gardevoir line, which I think is probably one of the most eye-popping things for most people. So we were just playing a 2-on-2 Gardevoir line, a little bit thinner than most people. I've decided to cut the Curlia for a long time now. I think the Curlia is a pretty weak card. People like playing the Curlia and the TM Evo against Dragapults, but I've found that the best strategy against that is really just use Frillish and try to just get rid of all their Badoo's, so you can just use Rare Candy yourself. And then for the Ralts, generally when you're going for this aggressive item lock strategy, it's pretty costly for your opponent to try to go boss, knock out your Ralts. And like even if they do, it's usually pretty good for you. So I don't really find the need for 3 Ralts. You're pretty much okay with prizing Ralts in just about every matchup. And then the other star of the show is the 2-1 Jellicent line, which is something we've been running since Worlds. The 2 Frillishes are really important. We can do the classic quote-unquote Frillish shuffle where you sort of retreat between the 2 Frillishes. Since it has a nice 3 retreat cost, you can generate a bunch of damage and use that for your Monkey Dories. And then, of course, the Jellicent itself is also really nice. Sometimes you can just sweep your opponent with it. You can set it for TM Devo plays with the Jellicent inactive to stop them from using Rare Candy. So yeah, that card really carries the team. And then probably the actual MVP is the 3 Monkey Dories. This card is just broken. I haven't tried playing 2 Monkey Dories for a while, but prizing a Monkey Dory when you only play 2, having access to only 1 is actually pretty bad. So I played 3 to just guarantee I have access to 2 in every game. And then in some matchups like Golden Go, you might even get all 3 of them involved in one turn. And then I'll just go with all the 2 prizers here. When I prize check, I kind of group all these guys together. So Clefairy, pretty standard, just straight up attack for the Dragapult matchup. Mew, also kind of attack for the Dragapult matchup, but the ability is amazing. It's kind of half of a Cleffa and half of an attacker. It's also a great attacker against decks like Charizard, Ceruledge, Fez. Some people actually cut the Fez and play like a Mystery Garden engine. I don't really like that. The Fez is broken. I play 3 Nest Balls too, so the Fez is perfect. And then the Latias is just to be able to pivot into the Frillish at the beginning of the game, particularly in the mirror matchup and against Dragapults. And then the last Pokemon is the Screamtail. Can't really play Guardian without this card. Helps you close out the game and try to stop your opponent's setup. Really, really strong card. Okay, and then getting into the trainers. Trainers, pretty straightforward. We got, for supporters, we got 4 Lilies. When Lilies first came out, I was sort of in between, like, is Lilies or Research better? But as I've played the deck more and more, especially this deck, the Lilies are incredible because you don't have to discard your resources. You get to conserve your resources for the entire game. So like your Devo, your recovery cards, your Dark Energies, all of those you just get to keep it in your deck, which is perfect. And like you can still use Ultra Balls and Earthen Vessels to thin the bad cards out of your deck, so that at the very end your deck is just full of good cards. Thanks to the Lilies. 4 Ionos, pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I've ever played a Gardevoir deck with less than 4 Ionos. You stay at 6 prizes a lot of the game, so it's a great draw supporter for you while also disrupting your opponent. Have the 1 Research here. This card is all right. Might cut it. I didn't use it too much throughout the event, but if I could play 5 Lilies, I would, but of course I can't. So the Research is just kind of a slightly worse Lilies. 1 Arven. I only play 2 tools in this deck, so didn't really feel the need to play a bunch more Arvens. And I mean, it's really good for finding your Devo when you want it, finding Rare Candy or Ultra Ball. It's really nice to have a hand where you have either the Rare Candy or the Ultra Ball, and then the Arven to fill in the missing piece. And then the Turo is really necessary card. It fills a lot of holes in the deck. You can get rid of your Latias when you have to drop it early because the Latias kind of ruins retreating between the Frillish, so you need a Turo to fix that eventually. And also it's really good against Yveltal, which a lot of people are playing right now, and Grimmsnarl, Zoroark, and the Absol deck. Items I'll go through real quick. 4 Ultra Ball, amazing card in Gardevoir. Discard your energies, find your Gardevoir, find your Jellicent. 3 Earthen Vessel. Once again, discard cards, find your energies. 3 Nest Ball. It's a little higher than the count in most Gardevoir decks, but the reason for that is Latias and the fact we're only playing 2 Ralts, so kind of that's what the cut is. I cut a Ralts for an extra Nest Ball because I think the Nest Ball is a bit more flexible. 3 Rare Candy. Of course, I'm only playing 1 Curlia, so you kind of need the extra Rare Candy. And there's just really good synergy when you play Lilies. You have a really high chance of trying into Candy Gardevoir with this deck. Other ones, 2 Countercutcher. Some people cut to 1, but I really like this card. It just helps you be really disruptive, which is kind of the theme of the deck. Counter catcher, Iono, Frillish, just makes it really hard for your opponents to find all the pieces they need to stay in the game a lot of the time. And then the recovery is one that's pretty much every single Gardevoir deck plays. The 2 stretcher, 1 rod. The stretcher is obviously a better card because it gets you the card right into your hand, but sometimes you might have to discard too many resources and you just need the rod to actually manage to get everything you need to close the game out later. And then the last item we have here is, of course, our ace spec, the secret box, one of the best cards ever printed probably, just gets you everything and combos well with the Arven, but of course, this deck you only play 1 Arven, so sometimes the secret box actually sticks around for later in the game, which is great because that means, you didn't have to waste it turn 1 and you get to have a perfect turn on like turn 3 or 4, which, will just help you win the game, get that counter catcher Iono straight away with just 1 card. And then the 2 Pokemon tools, Bravery Charm. Bravery Charm is really good for a lot of reasons. One of the primary reasons is for the Goldango matchup. When you can Bravery Charm your Frillish, you get it out of the Solrock plus Vitality Band range, which means they actually have to discard energies to knock you out. And then the other reason is, of course, you can use the Scream Tail to close the game out for 240 damage. Comes up a lot when you want to knock out a Fez, and maybe you don't have counter catcher access. TM Devo, broken card with both Monkey Dory and Jellicent. Sometimes you can set up a bunch of damage and then Devo and take 3 or 4 prizes all at once. Sometimes when you use Devo, you're not even taking a prize, but maybe you're going to just Devo a rare Candied Pidgeot or Charizard with Jellicent in the active, and all of a sudden your opponent just can't use that rare candy again and set it back up. Did that in my top 8 set. And then the 2 stadiums are the Artisan and the Mystery Garden. A lot of us before played 2 Artisan, like that's what I played at Worlds, but this Mystery Garden card, it's a pretty good stadium in and of itself, and also it's a way to bump Artisan, because when you're item locking your opponent, a big benefit of that is that they can't play Buddy Buddy Poffin or Nest Ball. So by giving them Artisan, you're kind of getting rid of that advantage by letting them have access to your basics. So just playing the extra Nest Balls instead of Artisaning just gives you more chance to kind of just scam your opponent and not let them get set up at all. And then the last thing are the energies. This is pretty straightforward. Just playing the 7 Psychic in this deck. I've played 8 Psychic in the past in more of the Turbo style Gardevoir decks, but in this case, we're not reaching for big Drift Lunar Screamtail one-shots, so just need the 7 Psychic in order to, set up our Jellicent while also being able to retreat our bench Pokemon. And then 3 Dark, just for the Monkey Dories. Playing 4 Dark would be great, but there's just not really space for that. So yeah, this is the Jellicent Gardevoir deck that a lot of people did well with at the past regionals, and excited to see what the future of this deck is going to look like.
No, it's, again, thank you, because everyone always wonders like where the deck comes from and how it's played and all the cards in it and why they're in there, and it's nice to hear it from the creator. Your worst matchups were
Yeah. Well, what I lost to in the tournament was Grimmsnarl and Zoroark. I actually don't think either of these matchups are that bad. Grimmsnarl in particular, I actually think is a favored matchup, but I drew really poorly in that set. And then Zoroark, I maybe will admit that is like slightly unfavored, but definitely not as bad as people think it is. Maybe give it like a 45%. Yeah, I didn't really draw very good against Liam, and he got his Zoroarks up and just kind of ran me over. But it's a match I'd be willing to money match a lot of people in. Just because I really don't think it's too bad, and I think there's a lot of ways you can outplay it as a Jellicent side. So yeah, no, I'm a Gardevoir shill, so I really think that just about every match is favored, pretty much regardless of the build you're playing, but especially with this deck. Yeah, even the dark type decks, which a lot of people are scared of, I think if you play them enough, you'll get comfortable and you can feel like you can win most of those matchups.
Yeah, I think what everyone has said so far is that this deck doesn't take very bad matchups. You just have to lose to very good players and kind of be a little bit unlucky. If you could, what would you change? If there's anything in this deck that could be changed at this moment, and getting ready for LAIC coming up tomorrow, is there anything you would change?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I've got to think about this a lot today. I think the card that sort of stands out to everyone is the research. Maybe could be another supporter, maybe an extra Arven, or maybe another different card altogether. That's definitely something I'm thinking about. Maybe something like an extra Mystery Garden would be nice. But yeah, besides that, just think about the matchups which are the most difficult. Even though I do think the dark type decks are favored, sometimes you can get run over in those matchups. So maybe another card to help secure those a little bit more would be nice.
Gotcha. Thinking even further ahead with the new sets coming out and some new megas coming out, and we're gonna see Gengar.
Yeah.
Worried at all?
Well, I'm definitely excited for the next set because Gardevoir is going to get a huge buff with the Mega DNC, and that will almost surely be slotted into this deck, I would imagine. The Mega Gengar is not a card I've thought about a lot. I don't think it's very strong. I don't know exactly how it would be played, but to be honest, I've been so focused on these past two tournaments and this format that I just haven't really played any of the new set at all. So I'm excited to try those cards out, see what new cards I need to be worried about, and also how to figure out how to slot DNC in. I mean, the really nice thing about DNC, of course, is that it's weak to metal, so it gives you a lot more play into these dark type matchups. So yeah, I mean, I think the deck will just get even better with the next set.
That's awesome. All right, we can't wait to see it, and good luck at LAIC. Any shout outs, and where can we find you?
Well, shout out to Brian and Tabletop Village. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, in terms of where to find me, I'm on Twitter at hchow999. I also stream on Twitch sometimes, hchowtcg. And I have my Metafy, which, yeah, you can find the links of all that stuff on my Twitter.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, and good luck.